Jim, let's get to some questions from the listeners here today. And actually, before we do that, now that I think about it, you did say you watched Monday Night Raw live on tape.
Oh, now you change your story.
From Saudi Arabia. Well, I want to get this out of the way because, it's Raw in Saudi Arabia. It doesn't count.
Well, yes. And that's when it opened up, they're in Riyadh. I said, they're still there? Do you think there was some delay of the plane? Apparently not.
No, I mean, in this case, they actually had a Monday night booking. I don't think there was a delay of the plane. All right, emergency Raw. Go back to the stadium.
Well, no, I'm just thinking maybe they said, hey, you can't leave just yet. Might as well stick around. But this was this could have been done on a telephone. I'm looking at my notes here. And besides the reliable Bloodline segment, the opening of the show was Liv and Dom and Rochelle, a young man's journey through Minsk. And Liv's
a young woman's journey from Milan to Minsk.
Well, she stopped over in between Milan and Minsk. And nevertheless, Liv is the voice. She screeches the thing, the Valley Girl thing. Dominic starts to talk. They play the music, and out come Jade and Bianca. And Jade and Bianca are not happy because, they crossed paths last week. So you want a piece of the tag team champions? And Liv said, why are you guys coming out all angry? And so what we've got is Liv doing a promo in the voice of a 6-year-old girl. And the whole thing is to set up that Jade and Bianca aren't really friends like her and Rochelle are, old Rachel Rodriguez. And one of them's gonna stab the other one in the back at any minute. And Bianca says, well, we'll do this right now. And then Pierce and the referees came out and said, no, you won't. Everybody has to leave now. And then that's when Liv told Jade to watch out for the knife that Bianca's going to stick in her back. And Bianca slapped Liv. And then Pierce had to say, okay, well, then in that case, Liv, you're going to defend the title versus the winner of tonight's Battle Royal. And the tag team champions are in the Battle Royal. And it starts right now. And I was like, what the fuck? And then we had 18 women in the ring for a Battle Royal. All 18 of them were wearing scuba diving outfits from head to toe. It looked like Halloween at SeaWorld. And this was better than the first. I don't say better in any respect. This was longer than the first half hour of the show. And then they paid it off with Jade and Bianca top rope the other two who they were left with, Io Sky and Lyric Valedictorian. But they hung on the apron so that Jade and Bianca could stare at each other to build anticipation like now they're going to have to fight, but they neither one should have ever thought for a second that they'd eliminated the other girls because they were still on the apron. And of course the heels came back in and boom and jumped them and interrupted it. So Jade and Bianca hit their finishes on the other two girls and went to dump them out. But there was Rachel at ringside and grabbed Bianca's 6-foot ponytail and was trying to pull her out, and Jade was holding on to her, and Liv pulled both of them over. And now bear in mind, Liv and Rachel were not in the match, and it was right in front of the referee, but the announcers made the point of mentioning it's no disqualification. Lazy booking. It just looks so bad when the referee has to stand there and stare slack-jawed because they don't care anymore. They've just, well, everything's no DQ, so we can do whatever we want. And then Jade and Bianca chased Liv and Rachel off, and the other two continued the match and did the longest, most choreographed bullshit apron bit back and forth teasing their elimination that I think has ever been done in wrestling. And then Lyric fell off. The end. 34 minutes. Your thoughts?
Do you think this is too early to tease Jade and Bianca? Or if they're going to do anything at WrestleMania, do you begin the tease now? Does that tell you they're not going to do anything then? What are your thoughts on any of that?
They've got plenty of time for WrestleMania. And I'm not saying that it's even too early. It was just kind of blasely done in that I think maybe they just wanted to see if the people would react. But this was Saudi Arabia. They didn't react for a minute. I don't know whether they got it or not. And then they kind of started rumbling, but the heels were back in and blah, blah, blah. But no, this would neither be too early nor too late for WrestleMania, depending on the build. I mean, they could do it at the Royal Rumble, for fuck's sake, or have some climactic issue at the Royal Rumble. There's plenty of time. But I think that Jade needs to be the heel because she's more effective that way, but I almost think it would freshen Bianca up a little bit if they surprised people, because that goddamn hopping and skipping and smiley, twirly hair thingy, I'm just...
Yeah, but that's worked so far. My problem would be, can you see Jade as a long-term babyface?
Not really. That's why I say it'd be easier and more expected if Jade was a heel. But at least they wouldn't be talking like that to each other all the time. Oh, girl, girl.
I don't know what the hell you're doing.
Well, they do. It sounds so phony when they do all this backstage banter between the two of them. It's ridiculous.
So that's why you want them to be broken up?
No, I'm just saying at least we wouldn't have to hear any more of that.
Well, what else? What else, girl, did we have to hear on Raw?
I'll tell you what, girl. Did you see the Wyatt video thing with Miz? I mean,
the kidnapping, yeah. They picked the right country, I guess, to film that segment in.
Oh, good Lord. I didn't even think about that.
Where can we do an abduction and a kidnapping and maybe have a bone saw around? I don't know. How about Saudi Arabia?
Tie a motherfucker to a chair with duct tape over his mouth. Let's do it in Saudi Arabia. We checked the statutes. It's perfectly fine. Then Kofi and Woods were doing a promo in the back when all of a sudden the Wyatt video pops up and there is The Miz in a dark room tied to a chair with a horror mask on. And Bo Dallas is off camera reciting some kind of Edgar Allan Poe bullshit. When will this Edgar Allan Poe bullshit be over with? And then he pulls the horror mask off and Miz has his mouth taped. And he pulls the tape off. And Miz is like, you want the final testament. You don't want me. Just what a gutless weasel, right? You want the final testament. He'd be the only one. And he said, it's all a misunderstanding. I'm willing to forget all about this. And again, Bo Dallas does some kind of, was that maybe a Shakespearean reading? And then a guy in a mask, apparently that may be Uncle Howdy. It was very quick, ran up from behind and grabbed Miz, the end. And I wrote, this is the stupidest shit, without a doubt, that I've ever seen. Thoughts on that?
Very out of place with the Triple H, the Paul Levesque era. This kind of stuff. This belongs in a past era. And, I know it's mid-card, if that. But it doesn't fit in with the tone of everything else.
It belongs in the Ed Wood era. And is it, in this day and age, when people expect to be able to hear and see things clearly, is the treatment of the old VHS tape rolling and contorting and converting or whatever, is that getting over with the young folks, or is that seen as avant-garde in some fashion?
Most fearless people in wrestling, the cameraman with Moxley, the video editor with Bray Wyatt's crew.
Especially when he has to say, I'm sorry, Mr. Wyatt, but it looks like the video looks like shit. We're going to have to leave all the fucking distortion in.
That's my look. Leave it. That's the thing. And the other part of the problem is WWE received this and said, yeah, let's air it.
Yeah.
Should we hand it to the authorities? Maybe Tuesday. Let's air it on Monday.
As soon as we air it, we're going to immediately send it over to the police because that guy looks like he needs some fucking help. Please help me. Call police. Anyway, so that was that. And then the New Day wrestled the War Vikings. And the War Vikings won. And son of a gun, we were at 9 o'clock. That was the first hour. So Sami came to the ring, Sami Zayn, at the 9 o'clock hour, and the people love him, and he spoke to them in their language, their native tongue. What is it, Saudi Arabianese, or what language do they speak over there?
I'm not sure.
Possibly more. Please help me. Don't saw my head off.
No, I have a family. No, let me go.
Think of the children. Yeah, that's the kind of language they speak. But anyway, and then he said in English, that's why I know what he said, that he was proud to come out before his people and speak their language. And
French Canadian?
Well, that's
French in Montreal. What language exactly?
That was like, it was like, wait a minute, you happy to come out before all you French Canadians? And we established before, and I've forgotten because it's confusing and it all revolves around religion, so I don't care to begin with. But Sami was on the outs over there. He couldn't go over there because the people that were running the place were mad at his people. But now they're not mad at his people anymore, and his people are your people, and your people are our people, and we're all people.
And the check's cash.
So then suddenly Jay's music interrupted, and the crowd went nuts. And here comes Jay, and he's over. And Jay tells Sami, thank you for helping me at Crown Jewel, and I appreciate what you did for me, Oos, and a blah, blah, blah. And I've got to ask you, was it an accident when you kicked Roman Reigns in the face? And see, that's the thing, that's the bone of contention. Was it an accident when they shot Marvin in the face? I'm sorry, that's the wrong movie. Was it an accident when he kicked Roman Reigns in the face? Oh, man, you shot Marvin in the fucking face.
All Sami had to say was, don't you have Peacock? Go back and watch the footage. It's clear as day it was an accident.
Well, he was standing in the fucking ring at the time, but nevertheless. So then when he asked that question before Sami can answer, Jimmy's music plays. And Jimmy comes in pissed because everybody saw it. Sami Zayn kicked Roman Reigns in the face on purpose. And I'm pissed, and Roman's pissed, and you ought to be pissed too, Jay. And we can't trust this guy. So now, here again, the dissension is rearing its ugly head in the bloodline, but Sami bowed up at Jimmy. You. That's exactly what he did. You, of all people, are trying to say you can't trust me. You're the one. And then they went back to the angle, and you know what? It fits. You brought me in the family to begin with. You're the one who kicked me in my face. You kicked Roman in the face, and you kicked Jay in the face. So why aren't you the one that we can't trust? And then, yes, I know you made bad decisions before. But at Crown Jewel, for a minute, just a minute there, it felt like old times where we were all standing together, fighting for the common good. Maybe Sami's a communist.
Well, that's what Val Venus said. Val Venus accused them of being...
That's true, because he stood together and fought for the common good at Crown Jewel.
Shit, he's going to AEW then.
And then they're all going to be a bunch of commies down there. God damn commies. But anyway...
Said you were a commie too, by the way.
Well,
Comrade Cornette.
I hate all them motherfucking commies, because they're even commier than I am. But Sami finally said, I'm not going to have my integrity and my morality and my motives questioned anymore. I love you, Jay, but I can't do this again. I can't go through it. I'm out. And Sami's leaving to walk that aisle. And then Jay says, Sami, please don't go. Don't go.
Oh, for
Don't
Christ's sake, come
go
on. No,
away.
stop.
If you leave, at least in my
I will.
lifetime,
I will leave in the
I've
next minute.
had one dream come true.
It's a
that
nightmare.
I could be loved by someone as wonderful as you. Please don't go. He said, please don't go to Sami. Did you go? Did you go away? Or are you still there, Brian?
Hold on, let me remove these Q-tips that I stuck as far into my ears as I could. Hello?
Well, you know, sometimes you can get a little tickle out of that if you go in deep enough.
Oh, let me try that.
Yeah, and it's, as a matter of fact, if you go right till you feel your brain and then go just a little bit deeper, it feels fucking great.
Oh, I'll let you know how it feels.
Okay, and let me know if you can still speak English afterwards. But anyway, so Jay asked Sami, said, please come to SmackDown. Please come to SmackDown for the springtime. We'll stay up in the mountains so far that we can't be found. Did you put the Q-tips back in? I guess he did. So Sami said, please come to SmackDown, Sami, to talk it out with Roman and the whole gang. And Jay told Jimmy that Sami is family. And the people started chanting, Sami Uso, and all that type of thing. The end. So another incredible dramatic reading, a rendition, if you will, a perpetration of an Oscar Wilde stage play, adapted by Oscar Levant with with Rogers and Hammerstein score.
It's an expensive crew here.
What'd you think?
You know, it was all right. The only thought is it feels like, it's like a reunion of everything from years ago, but it worked then, and so far, so good now.
So you're saying it's deja vu all over again?
Yes, Yogi. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Well, hey, thank you, boo-boo. So then we got Chad Gable and Dragon Lee, but I forgot to pay attention. And apparently Gunther is giving Ludwig Kaiser some tough love because Kaiser was doing a promo where he said that Cody got lucky, and that was all it was, but Gunther cut him off and put Cody over and said that night he was the better man. Either that or he said he was the butter man. He's in the eggs and butter business now, possibly bought a dairy, I'm not sure. But Gunther had one good line about tonight's four-way. You have three very capable performers and Dom. So that way, even the heels give Dominic absolutely no respect. But Gunther said, it's up to me to do better. And he looked at Kaiser and he said, we both have to do better. So there's tension there. And poor Kaiser, he's always getting pushed around. But then it was time for the main event. I swear to God, I've described this whole program. They could have telegraphed this in, much less phoned it in. The main event was a winner is the number one contender match. That's a revolutionary thing they've never had before. Damian Priest versus Seth Franklin Rollins versus Dominic Mysterio versus Sheamus. And the entrances took 10 complete minutes. And they still rang the bell with 20 minutes on the air. So, I mean, would you like a complete blow-by-blow, move-by-move breakdown of this 20-minute long four-way match, or you want to just let me fast forward you to the last 5 minutes where something happened?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, well, all of a sudden, Bronson Reed showed up and grabbed Sheamus and Priest and ran them into the ring posts down on the floor. And Seth saw him, and they got in a fight. And Bronson Reed cleared the announce desk off, but Priest and Sheamus got back up and got on Bronson Reed, and Reed rolled into the ring and starts beating up Priest and Sheamus again. Again, they're saying, well, it's no DQ. This guy's beating people up that's in the match. He's not even in the match, and you've created a situation where the referee just has to stand there and look at it, and it's just... But anyway, So for the integrity of the match, not so good, but to get Bronson Reed over, it's good. He splashed Priest. He splashed Sheamus. My God. He splashed Priest, and then he executed the splash on Sheamus, and then he splashed Seth through the fucking announce desk. And this is great. And then Dominic splashes Sheamus off the top rope. 1, 2, and Priest saved him. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, Jesus Christ, that was out of nowhere. And I guess they wanted to give Dom something. But then Dominic goes to the top like he's going to splash somebody. And Priest got up and choke slammed him, or grabbed him in a choke slam and choke slammed him 1, 2, 3. So it would have been great if Dominic had got the win in the cheapest of fashions after everybody had written him off with that behind the back splash there. But instead, they went with Priest. But you can't have Dominic against Gunther.
Well, that was Raw. And of course, Jim.
You don't have any incisive.
No, I was done by this point. I was done by this point.
See, now you're getting spoiled when they go back to 3 hours, pal.
Oh, stop it.
Then we're really going to know misery.
Jim, if you're a professional wrestler for WWE and you're sitting on the tarmac wondering if you're going to get out in one piece, if your life will be intact, if your family will be taken care of, you may think about a good life insurance policy.
Well, you might, because you're going to need one. And we're all going to need life insurance because, you know, one thing's for sure, at some point, we're all going to die. Some of us not as soon as we should. Some of us are going to hang on forever. Other ones, just like that. You never know. But right now, we can tell you how you get incredible life insurance coverage. And even if you've had bad health, your health is bad, we don't care. Select Quote, one of America's leading insurance brokers, nearly 40 years of experience. They can look at you and just tell whether you're going to die in the next 2 or 3 years or not.
Well, that's not how it works. But anyway, continue.
Well, they've had a lot of practice. You go in, they shine a light on you, they look deep into your eyes, and they say, oh, you're fucked. Or no, you're good.
No, this is not how this works, but let's go back to how it actually works and what it does and what it is.
Well, yes, Select Quote has helped over 2 million customers find over $700 billion in coverage since 1985. And I don't know how much that premium is, but if you can get $700 billion in life insurance coverage, fuck, if I had that, I'd fake my own death and give somebody that helped me $350 billion out of it.
Again, that's not how it works, and this is not the total from one customer. This was for all the customers that they work with and that they help and that they supply insurance to. Select Quote.
Well, that's why they call it insurance, because you're insured of being okay even after you croak, because other life insurance brokers offer impersonal one-size-fits-all policies. But they don't do that at Select Quote. They have licensed insurance agents. Every single one of them has a driver's license. They're licensed to drive in the state they work in, and they will help you tailor a life insurance policy for your individual needs in as little as 15 minutes. Let's say, for example, you say, look, I'm feeling like shit. I'm probably going to drop over soon. I need some quick life insurance. They're just going to hop on that, because if you're worried about getting coverage with a pre-existing health condition, Select Quote partners with carriers that provide policies for a variety of health conditions. Say you've had leprosy, malaria, whooping belch, crotch rot. They don't care. If you have high blood pressure, no problem. If you have diabetes, no problem. Even if you have heart disease, Select Quote partners with carriers that can cover those conditions and others. So, you know, even if you've got a blood pressure of like 300 over 180, they'll find somebody that'll give you something for your worn out carcass. And if you don't have any major health issues, congratulations, but they work with carriers that can get you same-day coverage with no medical exam required. They don't have to look at your eyeballs. They don't have to look down your throat or up your nose. They don't have to stick anything up. Well, you know what. And folks, I'm telling you, Select Quote. You've heard about them before. They've been around for years. You need to team up with them, because imagine the World Series, the Super Bowl, the Olympics. The world's top athletes get to play in these top-level sporting events thanks to one thing: teamwork. And there is no I in teamwork, but there is an I in insurance. And teamwork can also protect your financial legacy and your family's future by teaming up with our partners at Select Quote and covering your worthless ass so you don't stick your loved ones with a big bill after you're gone and they have to resort to just planting you under the redbud tree in the backyard. So again, head to selectquote.com and a licensed insurance agent will call you right away with the right policy for your life, your budget, and your family's needs. And remember, that's who you're doing this for, is your family. Because when you're dead, well, you're pretty much going to be easy to please, but your family is still going to have needs, and you need to pay for them. Select Quote, they shop, you save. It's an amazing combination. So get the right life insurance for you for less at selectquote.com/JCE. Selectquote.com/JCE to get started, because today is the first day of the rest of your life, ladies and gentlemen. And for some of you out there, you may not have too many more, so don't waste any time.
That's right. Select Quote, welcome to the show. Welcome to the family. One more time, what's that promo code, Jim?
Well, it is JCE at selectquote.com/JCE. Yes, I kind of just did it backwards there.
That's right.
Yes.
Well, we fixed that. More about
so I made a mistake, is what you're saying.
More about our friends at Select Quote in the future.